Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. I almost got hit in the face with a hummingbird. I want to come out here and say one thing quickly, and I am going to keep this short. Thank goodness so many of you are educated and you do research, so you understand a lot of times when I talk about different things. Once in a while, you still get the people that come through and say, "Oh, you can't grow in plastic. Plastic is killing us. Plastic is in our food. Plastic is everywhere." You know what? Let's talk about plastic. Let me take you back to my childhood. I'm going to start there, but we will keep it short. When I was a couple years old, and I can kind of remember this, my dad was washing a Pyrex or a Corningware dish in the sink. It slipped out of his hand. He sliced his hand open and he had to go to the hospital and get some stitches. From that moment on, everything in our house was changed to plastic. My mother said there would be no more glass. It would be plastic dishes we ate out of. Cups. Oh my goodness, there were plastic coffee cups. Everything was plastic. You know what? My dad made it to 99 and my mom is still there, not much behind, if you get an idea of what I'm saying. And I am up there too, still dealing with plastic. Plastic is a big part of our lives. You're handling phones, your clothes are plastic. You can't believe how much plastic there is. But are we ingesting plastic? You're right, we are. Are we ingesting it through our garden? I want you to think about something. I want you to look at plants and understand where plants are getting their food from, their water from. They're getting it from their roots. You do know how tiny roots are, okay? They're like our hair. They're so fine. Now let's go back to cows, chickens, and fish. If plastic gets into the ocean and it gets broken up, fish do swallow plastic. If some of it gets digested and we eat that fish, we may get some of the microplastics out of that. As far as feed lots and cattle, chickens, pigs, I know that many times there is plastic type material in their feed. Their mouth is big, they can swallow that without even knowing if they're getting plastic. I know a lot of the fruits and vegetables are now being coated in a wax type plastic. You know, like apples being dipped in wax, kind of a plasticky. We're eating that. Our mouth is big. We are actually eating that. When it comes to our vegetables that we're growing, as far as today, it has been researched that the plants do not bring up the plastic. And even if they did, let's say they're wrong. Let's say the research they put out there is incorrect. How much plastic could a plant possibly take up? And this is probably one of the most important things to think about when it comes to plants and nature. Plants are growing in the ground, growing in soil, yes, in plastic containers, but you know what? They get to pick and choose what they want. They're pulling up nutrients, minerals, things that they want. They're feeding as they're foraging in the ground. That's not to say they never will. I'm not going to say that. But think about how they're feeding. Unlike a animal that is being fed dry type food, pellets, whatever they're being fed, they're swallowing it because that's what they're being fed and that is what's in front of them. It goes in their mouth and it's gone. They don't get to pick and choose. Nobody's giving them a buffet out there and saying, okay, eat what you want. The animals are eating what we feed them. So if it's in their dog food, if it's in feedlots, if it's wherever, even on the ground, mixed into other things, they're just reaching down and eating it. Where plants can be selective. That is why some plants have more minerals than another plant. Different types of elements are in different plants because they're picking up what they want. I'm not going to worry about the very small amount if that's true, that some of you say, oh, there's plastic in there. because I'm going to tell you something. There is more plastic around us than in our food when it comes to food that we grow. And if it's food that you're buying that has been treated, I can't say much about that. There is a fruit that I used to love to eat, and as of not too long ago, I can't eat it anymore. A certain fruit a day keeps the doctor away. If it's from the grocery store, I get violently sick. I get such stomach pains. I thought it was a joke. I mean, I thought this can't be real, but I have tested it and I can't eat it anymore. Now, if we grow our own, that's fine. All the oranges that I'm growing here are fine. But when it comes from the grocery store, I can't eat it for multiple reasons. We've looked it up. It could be the pesticides. They inject the trees, mind you, then it gets into the apples, and at that point, I wasn't gonna say, I can't eat it anymore unless it's homegrown. And I think the main reason that's happening is I'm eating so much organic that my body's starting to tell me, nope, don't like it, we don't want it, and you're gonna get stomach pains from it. You're breathing every day. I don't know where you live, but if you're anywhere near streets, freeways, whatever, there is more plastic coming off of tires that are in our air that we are breathing in, and it's getting into our system that way. Now, I am not going to tell you to grow in plastic totes or plastic flower pots. You do what you want. My doctor told me, with everything they've run on me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it and don't stop. In fact, I brought my doctor plants she wanted. Nothing is perfect in life. But I want to grow my own food. I want to put out food for the hummingbirds that are behind me. And guess what? I use plastic. Why? Because in the heat, glass hummingbird feeders get very hot. Plastic does not. It stays regulated. Our plastic totes are not going to break down, as some of you have said, until it's about 140 to 150 degrees, and the soil will always stay cooler than the air around. So, again, all I want you to do is grow. If you want to grow in glass, make sure there's no lead in it. Go ahead and grow in glass. If you want to grow in the ground, go ahead. Test your soil, make sure it's okay if that's what you want to do. If you want to grow in wooden raised beds, make sure you're not using any wood that's been treated, because that is a chemical and that is toxic. And if you want to grow in metal, well, that's fine too. Be careful, don't cut yourself, because they sure do rust. You grow in whatever fashion you want to grow in. But the point is, we can't get away from it. Plastic is all around us. If you emptied your house today with everything that had and contains plastic, I guarantee you, I don't even know if your house would be empty or you'd even be able to be in the house, since our paint is plastic on the walls. That breaks down too, doesn't it? So I just kind of wanted you to think about things. There is better or worse. Good, better, or worse. If you can do good, do good. If you can do better, do better. But there are so many things that are far worse. I am going to continue to grow in the fashion in which I grow. I'm going to continue to monitor my health as I do with my doctor each year. I'm going to continue to do what I do. And like I said, in my household, we ate everything off of plastic because my mother would not allow glass in the house. And I think we fared pretty well. I honestly do. So I just want you to think about that. Think about the choices that animals that we feed on, how they don't have a choice on what they're eating. They're eating what we supply them. And on the other hand, plants that are growing behind me, though some of them are plastic now, including my hat that I made, has plastic flowers on it. The plants pick and choose what they want to eat because they are feeding on a buffet. So they can take up one type of mineral, they can discard minerals, they can do what they want. But the animals that we feed on, they can't, because they're feeding on a food that's been manufactured with God knows what in there, that they eat just as it's given to them. Please think about that, and think about what you can do better, because if you can do better, go for it. But I just wanted to kind of touch base on some people that might think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You're doing the best you can, and we're going to continue to do that. There's only one vegetable that they say a type of vegetable that we should be very careful when we're eating it if we're growing anywhere, because there could be plastic coming out of whatever you're composting, the soil you're buying, let alone making. And that would be your root vegetables. And that's in my video I talked about. If you're eating what you grew or anybody grew, carrots, beets, radishes, turnips, wash it good and rub off the roots or peel them off, because the roots can grab a hold of microplastics, but the plant doesn't bring it up. It doesn't get inside the carrot or inside the radish, but it can adhere itself at times, they say, the smallest amount to the roots. So just wash, I don't eat the roots anyway. So wash that off, rub it off, peel it, scrub it off with an aluminum scrubbing pad, whatever you want, and then go for it. I'd like to hear what you have to say, but I'm going to continue what I do. And that's all I wanted to do, is touch base with you. Okay, I got to go finish these hummingbirds, as you can see behind me, who are feeding out of plastic. And you go, oh my gosh, let me tell you something. We started with one bird, 7 years ago? And now we have thousands. It's theirs, their babies, the babies' babies, the babies' babies of babies. They are doing so good, so big, so healthy, and we rarely see any birds that are sick. The only time we might see birds in distress is after severe weather. We might see one or two. Otherwise, I'm going to say they're doing pretty good. And if they're doing pretty good, they tell me I'm doing pretty good, all I can do is pretty good. And I am happy with that. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. That's unbelievable. The more I feed, the more that come. I have to order another 100 pounds of sugar.